oh, when we eat plants, these microbes provide us with gifts like B12 and short chain fatty acids, and there's really cool things. And so, kind of all that, a lot of it at least, can be summed up in this graph where we're seeing like more fiber in your diet increases function in your microbiome, increases short chain fatty acids and enzymes, right? Increases diversity of all these microbes. And what we're seeing, whether it's in your colon, a lot of this is done in the colon because we do research on stool, but it's really from mouth to anus, right? So if you hear of people with esophageal disease, like a big common one is EOE, if you've heard of that, that is affected by what you're eating and what you're doing, right? And obviously, it continues, right? And each kind of chamber of our gut is its own little ecosystem being helped and affected by what we're doing. And a lot of it, a common denominator in what we're seeing, whether you're looking at populations living to 100 or populations with lower GI disease or just lower chronic disease in general, plants are in that common denominator, right? We're eating more plants, they're able to ferment more plants, they just have a bigger variety of plants. So, for so many reasons, in so many studies, plants are needed and extremely, extremely helpful. And so, getting a little deeper into that, we've seen it in this really cool study that was done on animals, but it was done transplanting a human microbiome into an animal microbiome. We're seeing that a fiber-rich diet protected your gut lining. We're seeing that a fiber-rich diet really helps, and which is essentially saying we can call it a fiber-rich diet, we can call it eating more plants and a plant-based diet, and just and having that a regular on a regular basis is helping to protect this layer. And essentially what this graphic is just showing is that you have this layer, which we're going to get into and explain a little bit more, but you have this layer in your gut that can get degraded over time. And a big prevention tool for that is eating plants, right? And
Mhm.
we know that. We've seen that in study after study, whether it's an animal study, like this one's just really cool, or it's a human study, or it's a randomized control trial. We've seen that over and over again. So very important to know
And the
that.
reason why this study was so important for us to understand is because a lot of people don't realize how delicate the gut barrier is, right? We have our gut epithelia, which basically means our gut skin that comprises our gut, our entire GI tract. And that's again, like James mentioned, mouth to anus. And I think most people I talk to, and I always tell my patients this, right? Most people have seen what the liver looks like, what the heart and the brain looks like. These are solid, dense organs that are muscles, and they're
Mhm.
full of fibrous tissue and nerves. That is not what your gut is. Your gut is a hollow organ. It is one cell layer thick. It is 1 millimeter thick. It is thinner than our external skin, our external epidermis. And so that's delicate for such an important organ that handles our digestion, a large percentage, 80+% of our immune cells. It handles our motility, and then it connects to pretty much all of our systems, our endocrine system, our cardiometabolic system, our cardiovascular system. So many systems are influenced by the gut. So it's like, why is it so delicate and fragile? Well, we rely on this mucosal barrier, this thick, protective layer of mucus. Not only does that ensure the right things stay in the gut and the wrong things stay out of the gut so our immune system doesn't get confused and trigger autoimmunity, it also does things like blunt the force that the nerves feel, because secondary to your spinal cord, your gut is the second most innervated or nerve rich part in your entire body. So imagine if all those nerves were just right out there by this basically paper mache, let's be honest. They're
Yeah.
going to feel every bit of gas, every movement of stool, every time you're digesting something. So you need this mucus to really create that barrier so those nerves aren't sensing all of that movement. And I have so many patients who tell me they can feel everything. They are awoken every night because they can feel the stool moving through their system, or they can feel every time they have gas. And it's not just uncomfortable, it's painful for them because that mucus barrier has been degraded heavily by bugs basically eating away at it. And we know If fiber keeps that mucosal barrier rich, fibrous foods and specific types of fibrous foods that contain certain types of starches and carbohydrates, especially resistant starches, those keep that mucus barrier thick and healthy. The bugs will keep their own home well maintained, just like we do, right? We're not over here breaking walls and, breaking down doors. We want to live in a healthy home. So do your gut bugs. So they're going to keep that layer, that protective layer for them very healthy if you're giving them the right tools in order to do so. So they want that layer to be thick and rich. But when you're in survival, you're going to look around and use the resources around you. And that's what they do as well. So they will eat this layer of mucus. It's rich in carbohydrates, like I was mentioning. It's rich in starch. It
Mhm.
does contain some iron, some vitamins, some minerals, a little bit of fat in that layer as well. So if they're in starvation mode and they're in famine, they will feast on that mucus first and foremost. So while maybe additional fiber in the diet may trigger some symptoms, which we'll get into, not eating the fiber doesn't solve everything. If anything, that can lead you to autoimmune disease very soon. It can lead you to more serious conditions very soon. So we really want to emphasize this, that a no fiber diet is not the way to go. And really, we follow, some of these carnivore influencers just because it's important to know what's being put out there and what's being said. And you see the ones who have been long-term carnivore have slowly over the last few years said, okay, I couldn't just eat meat only. I started adding fruit. I started adding a little bit of vegetables. I'm going to start adding seeds and they'll start adding nuts. So it's
Mhm.
not long term. It's not a sustainable way of eating because your bugs need that fiber. You may think you don't, but they do.
Right. And then this would be, yeah, so this is going more into what Dahlia was mentioning, the lumen, the outer mucosal layer, inner mucosal layer. So that mucus is really thicker.
And
So
that's the green.
those little dots here, so these little cells, that's the cells that your mucus layer is way more, about 10 to 20 times thicker than the actual cells of your gut. So we are really relying on that mucus layer to be that extra protection, to be that buffer, to be just that cushion that we rely on. And when you don't have plants, you don't have fiber, and you lose that extra protection, that cushion. And we feel this and you see this. That's why those of you, if you are suffering with chronic GI issues, if you do have IBS or something diagnosed, it's easier for you to get a cold. It's easier for you to get COVID. It's
Mhm.
easier for you to get other diseases.
Yes.
And pretty soon you can find yourself also with autoimmune and immune system issues and the rabbit hole. And unfortunately, that hole just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it gets harder to get out of.
Mhm.
So here's just a really a visual representation of what we explained. So it is like this spiral. So essentially, this is like the gut microbiome spiral, and here it is. Great. So again, the gut microbiome is the nexus of all health on the planet because everything spirals from it. Everything comes from the gut microbiome. And so when we do go and we see like positivity. We'll talk about the negativity a little bit, but that'll be later. But this healthy gut microbiome spiral is why you'll see someone and go like, "Oh my gosh, you're so fertile. You have like 5 kids, right?" Because one area is going to the uterus and the skin, and you're like, again, this is where some of your genetics and your individualization comes in, right? We always say we all look like fingers, but when we get close, we have unique fingerprints. The gut is the same, and it interacts on such a high level all the way out to like our skin and even our fertility. It can also go out into the mesentery system and the spleen, where like even when you do eat maybe rotten food, you don't get food poisoning as easily because you have other ancillary organs that are just healthier and well maintained. This goes to then when you're healthy and your gut's healthy, you're healthy to your community. I don't know if you guys can see up here. I have even dots that go outside of the body, right? So beyond your spouse and your children, your home, your community, right? If you're feeling healthy, maybe you're more active on the PTA or in your church, right? Everything is connected to this nexus, right? To the starting point, which is your gut.